Welcome back to Key Arena in Seattle. Game 5, Western Conference semifinals. The Lakers tonight. Jones has been spectacular. Couple with Derek Fisher in the backcourt. Horry, Shaquille O'Neal, and Rick Fox on the front line. And for Seattle, the biggest change here at center, because Sam Perkins makes his first start of the season, flanked by Baker and Shrimp. Hawkins and Payton in the backcourt. Let's check in with the third member of our crew, Cheryl Miller.
Welcome back to Key Arena. And, you know, it's not like the Sonics and Coach Carl have had a whole lot to really be celebrating about in this series. But a win tonight obviously would be huge, especially since today is Coach Carl's 47th birthday. And I asked the birthday boy what he was wishing for.
Yeah, I have some good friends in town. I'd like to have a good dinner tonight about 10:30, laughing and having fun rather than the other.
And a little trivia for you, Quinn and Kevin. Today is also Yogi Berra's birthday, and you know what his famous motto was? It ain't over until it's over, guys.
Yeah, I know that, but Yogi Berra also said, if I'm not mistaken, let's not make a deja vu all over again. So I'm sure George doesn't want that.
Great referees tonight. Dick Bavetta, Bill Oakes, along with Kenny Mauer. Bavetta is routinely voted the best in the NBA. The Sonics, the Lakers, it's game 5. Seattle needs a win to stay alive, and here we go in the Emerald City.
And I think it's appropriate that Seattle's on defense first, because this is where they have to become much more effective in trying to figure out how to defend that man, Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq into Perkins. Rebound by Vin Baker. Here comes the first touch offensively for Seattle.
George Karl went with the experience with Sam Perkins. That's why he starts instead of McIlvain.
They need a good game out of Perkins. Here's Baker working in on Robert Horry. Baker inside. Missing the layup. Rebound fought for it. Clean by Horry. Here comes L.A.
Hey, Horry is a guy with Vin Baker. Vin can beat Horry. He cannot beat Shaq. It's interesting that Dale Harris decided to start Horry on him first.
Shaq doubled, tripled, leans, and is fouled inside.
They call walking.
And they call it travel. Dick Bavetta called a foul. Bill Oakes called a travel. Let's see who wins this one.
Dick Bavetta will win this one.
It is a foul inside on Seattle.
They call a foul before the second turn. And Dick Bavetta, the lead official on this, overruled and took it over. It's normally officials are asked to help, but Dick Bavetta took this one over. George Karl is trying to get some explanation as to why it's 2 shots. And I tend to agree with him. If he's saying he was fouled, he took the steps into the shot.
Shrimp picked up the foul. Here comes Shaquille O'Neal, who has been great in these playoffs. Quinn is averaging 30 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocked shots, 61% from the floor, but Shaquille O'Neal, 60% from the free throw line during the regular year, just 52%.
No, he's done everything he's needed to do, Kevin. I think the other thing that he's done to help his team is he's led them. He's been very vocal about what the guys needed to do, and I think in somewhat of a complimentary fashion. So I think he's grown as a leader as well as his overall basketball skills.
His game continues to improve and expand. Inside, nice pass on the wing for Dennis Strike.
Clearly coming out, George Karl says, I've got to get Vin Baker off, because he knows they've got to get some easy buckets, and Vin, other than Gary Payton, is where they get easy hoops on the block.
Fisher works on the perimeter with Payton there. Here's Fox, his first touch tonight. Hawkins is on him. Horry and Baker, shot clock at 6. Horry makes a move. Payton got in there, knocked it away. Fisher, 2 to shoot. Payton all over him, good at the goal. Got it, nice shot by Derek Fisher.
Yeah, they played the kind of defense they wanted to play in Seattle, and Derek Fisher, who shoots better from the 3-point line than the 2-point line, knocked it down at the end of the shot clock.
Lakers on top by 1. Here comes Gary Payton with the ball. Hawkins floating through the lane. They've got Payton doubled. Outside to the center, who is Perkins, and back to Payton. Rebound off the hands of O'Neal. Retrieved by Hawkins. A fresh 24. Shrimp in control. Perkins for 3.
That's one of the guys they need, Kevin, to stretch the defense. Sam Perkins shot it well in game 1, decent in game 2, but he really draws Robert Horry out if he's guarding him, or Shaquille here in game 5.
Great point. He's playing center tonight.
Yeah, and he really stood. Centers don't want to come out there. Horry can. Shaq will not.
Fox gives it off to Jones. Back out to Fox. Nice ball rotation. Horry to Fisher. Inside to Shaq. Doubled. Rebound by Shrimp. Here comes Gary Payton with 9.5 to play in the first quarter. Screen by Perkins. Payton against Shaq. A three by Hawkins. Rebound, Baker inside. Over Shaq.
That's aggressive. Get it off the glass. Put Shaq in a position to have to foul.
Sonics on top with their biggest lead of 4. Fox thinking about 3 and buries a 3.
There you go. Get somebody else in the game. Shaq, he kind of looked at Fox and, yeah, nod your head because he knows that opens it up.
Well, it's been Fisher, Van Exel, and Ori, and Jones. Maybe Fox's night to step up there.
They've got a lot of options offensively on this Laker team.
Payton was the runner. Shaq was there. Rebound lunging inside is Ori, and here comes Fisher. Payton reads them. Just under 9 to play in the first quarter. Through traffic. Fisher slithers. Here comes Ori. Pounded it away. Picked up by Baker. And a foul on Fisher as Payton was out of the block and off to the races.
Yeah. A little bit of a lack of communication on that side of the ball, but the Sonics had some communication here. Vin Baker gets this one. That one really bounced out of his hands. And given that he missed the first dunk, I think he's a little too hyped, a little too excited. You see his playoff numbers are decidedly down, particularly from the foul line. The numbers are down more so from scoring because Shaquille O'Neal, with his size and strength, was guarding Baker.
Payton saves it from the turnover. Perkins, Hawkins tries. Hawks block. Rejected by O'Neal.
And he tried to loft it up there, and Shaquille was able to get out to it.
Shaq is averaging 3 blocks a playoff game.
Well, they lead the league in playoffs in shots blocked at 8.5. So they're very good at blocking shots, but Ori can get them too.
Baker to the rim.
They're going to give it to Shaq. Ori tried to take the foul, but they're going to give that one to Shaq. So we see Baker early, trying to make his presence felt. Hawk gets it to him. A little jackknife, kind of up and under move. Shaquille goes underneath, and they call him for the foul on the arm. It was a good call.
Baker now with 6 points, 3 rebounds, and Seattle on top again by 3.
I think Seattle needs to get out to a good lead solidly in the first quarter, and particularly the first half, in order to keep the Lakers feeling like they can go back and get it back in L.A.
A 3 by Robert Horry is down, and Los Angeles hits another 3. They're now 2 of 2, and we're tied at 9.
Horry shooting 43% from out there, so he can make those.
He's shooting over 50% during this tournament, first and second round NBA playoff action. George Karl. Cheryl told you, 47 today, and waking up and looking for a birthday wish to be granted. That would be for the Sonics to live and see another day. Horry, another 3, just found one from outside. A jam tried by Jones, no good. Here comes Shrimp and the Sonics.
Now we'll see, because Shaquille has got Vin Baker.
Fox gets it. Here comes Horry, and when Horry has that kind of room, you know it's going to be an assured flush, and he does. Lakers by 2.
How about Rick Fox coming up with that steal? You've got to handle the ball. You can't turn it over.
Payton and Fisher. This is where Payton can thrive against a smaller point guard defender.
Yeah, but they'll run, if they have to, they'll run Shaq out of it.
Screened by Baker.
Well, they shoot a jump shot. So they prefer him to shoot that jump shot.
O'Neal with the rebound. And it worked to perfection for the Laker defense there. Horry the other way. Shimmies into Baker to Perkins, and a whistle and a foul.
Lakers have held themselves in here pretty well, made a good account of themselves with what would be an emotional start with Sam Perkins knocking down 3s.
Couple 3s by Los Angeles. Lakers on top by 2. Lakers on top by 2 with a couple 3s at 6:53 of the first quarter.
Yeah, and Vin Baker has come out here early. Right here he gets a dunk. That one really bounced out and didn't get a dunk. It bounced out of his hands. But he said he wanted to play aggressive. And you see him here come and get an aggressive rebound and then attack Shaquille O'Neal. And that's what you have to do with a big man. You have to go after him. Baker's 6 points, 3 rebounds. He's 3 for 4 from the field.
Preacher's son from Hartford, Connecticut, with his first appearance in the NBA playoffs. And he said, "Oh, what the team did." He was very honest to the papers today in Seattle. He said, "I've got to do better."
Well, I don't think, well, I know. If you haven't been involved in the playoffs, you have absolutely no idea how the level of intensity rises to a 3rd and 4th level. And the further you go into the playoffs, that intensity level rises more. And the real key, Kevin, is to be able to stay consistent with your emotions throughout that. And Vin Baker, having not played well, has probably been up and down, has to be up and down emotionally.
Salvadori off to a nice start. He has 7. Lakers have outscored Seattle 7-0 over last minute 10. We have 6:45 here in the first. Down went Jones. He has been knocked dazed. Payton misses the shot. Jones is down, and there's a whistle as the ball is out of play. He got whacked in the face, and you can see he's still trying to clear the cobwebs. 20-second timeout taken.
I think he got blind. I know he got blindsided by a pick. His eyes are open. I think he's all right. He gets blindsided, and he gets a little bit of the pick with the shoulder up toward the nose. So he's down. Gary Vitti, the trainer's out looking at him again. Gets a little, and Vin took the shoulder to the nose. That could have easily been called an offensive foul. I mean, it's one thing to set the pick. He acted as though he was turning.
Jones tries to clear the Stars. Timeout taken. 13-9. The Los Angeles Lakers leading Seattle. Well, the good news is Eddie Jones looks coherent. The bad news is he still thinks he's in his hometown of Philadelphia.
Well, he gets drilled. Watch the left shoulder of Vin Baker. He turns into him. He wants to make sure he gets a piece of him. And Eddie Jones was starting to go underneath. And you can see Eddie Jones going down would really hurt this team. The last 3 games averaging over 25 points, a career high in points in his last 3 games, getting 23, 29, and then 32 points in the last 3 games. So they can ill afford to lose him. And remember, Kobe Bryant has had the flu, so he may not be up to strength. But as you look and see, Eddie Jones is back on the floor.
And Kobe only played a couple minutes the other night. Jones gets the quick inbound. 6.5 to play in the first quarter. Jones to Shaq inside with a 2-handed dunk.
Let me tell you something. Dale Harris deserves credit for that. You know what he did? When a guy gets hit like that, officials pay particular attention to what's going on. So what they were trying to see what happened if Eddie takes it to the basket. If he gets hit, the officials are looking at it closely. They don't call a foul.
Misses the 3, picked up by Fisher, and it goes to Eddie Jones. As the Lakers run a nice little roll right here. It's Fisher out to Fox. He puts up the 3 ball and nails that one as well.
Oh, they are just stroking the 3, shooting 40% from the 3-point line this series.
And they're on a 12-0 run, and they've got 3 threes in their pocket already. Here's Perkins. Under 6 to play. Schrempf finds Baker. Shaq finds the ball with the swat.
Swat, he never killed it. He just put his arm up and never moved, and Vin Baker couldn't move him.
Flicked his wrist like he was flipping away a net. Fox to Shaq. Back outside. Shaq's done a great job of getting out of there.
Oh, Rick Fox.
Another 3.
3 ball. George has got to take a 20. Again, the defense is the problem. They double up on Shaq, knocking down 3s from everywhere.
22nd timeout taken by Seattle. Rick Fox is 3 of 3 shooting from above the 3-point arc. And every night it's somebody new. Some nights it's Eddie Jones. Every night it's Shaq. Tonight, maybe that X factor we've been talking about could be Rick Fox.
Well, they've had a number of people step up, but I'm a little surprised that here's what really caused the Lakers to have some success. They're very good at breaking you down off the dribble, and the Sonics are reluctant to go out and attack the shooters for fear of getting broken down, and they're allowing them to shoot uncontested 3s.
Going to see some defense and some nice transition for L.A.
Shaq is just there. Vin can't move by him. What he normally gets in the regular season, he may get a call for that. You see Shaq get it, a possible triple team. You see Det goes out slow because you want a guy to shoot a jump shot, and Fox just drilled him.
So the Sonics are one of their last 7 field goal attempts with 5:20 to play here in the first quarter.
And no fans in the game, a big plus for the Lakers.
Gary Payton is 0 of 4. Schrempf has it back to Payton. They find Perkins on the wing playing center. Shaq comes out for him. The middle is free. And that's where Schrempf finds an easy scoop layup.
But that's Sam Perkins' match. Because Shaq had to go out there because he was guarding Sam on that play.
5 minutes to play now here in the first quarter. It's Fox, knocked away by Perkins, picked up by Sam, who makes his first season start tonight.
But they get McIlvain back in to get Sam back on the perimeter.
Hawkins inside.
Yeah, he almost missed that one. Back up at you. Lob. Whoa!
Look out for Shaq. Oh, what a play.
That pass was so hard. There are not many people that can get up in time to get it. That's Laker basketball. Back at you on makes.
That is the first foul on McIlvain. And Shaquille, who got up high, had a wonderful pass on the break.
This is a hard, high pass. It looked soft there. That pass was smoking. Shaq gets it, has a chance to readjust it. Mack can't do anything but try to get there, and he fouled. And the big fella knocks down free throws, just dominating there.
So it's 24-13. Lakers now by 11. Their biggest first quarter lead. Lakers have just picked up where they left off. They put in 3 sensational games heading into tonight. Hawkins to Shrimp. By Fisher into Shaq. He knocks it away. Shaquille is playing tennis with the defense. The other pass. Jones.
Oh, what a pass. Yeah, but I'm telling you, the pass was unbelievable. Through traffic, and Eddie finished it.
McElvain in the other end. Rebound by Shaquille O'Neal.
Now you're in the Lakers game.
And this is not the kind of game Sonics want to play. They've hit their last 6 consecutive shots the Lakers have. It's Shaq doubled out to Fisher. Uh-oh. Fox, can he make it 4 straight? Oh, what a shot! Fox is on fire!
George has no choice. They have not had an answer. Inside, no outside. They don't have a fireman or anyone to put out the fire here. 29-13 down.
Rick Fox, as Jones precedes it with that monstrous slam, and Fox has gone 4 of 4 from above the arc. The Lakers continue their run of the table. That's all George Karl can do is call time. Los Angeles by 16, 29-13. The NBA playoffs continue tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, right here on TNT. Game 5, the Knicks and Pacers. Then it's Game 5 of the Hornets and Chicago Bulls. That's at 9:30 from Chicago. That's all right here on TNT.
Yeah, well, those will be 2 very good games because I've got to believe that both the Knicks and the Hornets are going to come out. They've got to play with great intensity as well because they're looking at elimination just as the Sonics are.
Seattle shooting 35%. Wonderful pass inside to O'Neal, who never broke stride. 31-13 Los Angeles.
They can't stop them, Kevin. This has been the problem the entire series. They've not been able to stop the Lakers, and most of it has been transition. Dale Ellis tries to come alive, but that's not the end. They can score. At home, they average 104 points. The Sonics do. They only average 95 on the road. That's enough to win games. But you got to stop people.
What can they do?
Well, they really are caught in between because Shaq is such a force down here. They've got to go double.
Los Angeles has hit 8 consecutive shots. It's Horry riding some rough terrain inside, and a foul called on Gary Payton. Let's go to Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Kevin and Quinn. In that last timeout, George Karl said we're going to change things up a little bit in our double down on Shaq. And Quinn, as you said, they have no choice but to double down, but they're going to try to yo-yo a little bit and try to get back out on the perimeter shooters, i.e. Rick Fox. But they have to do a better job on the perimeter. Offensively, though, he said he was very pleased with what the shots that they are getting. Guys?
Yeah, and I understand why he's pleased with it, and I think that's a good idea. If they can get back to the passer, you don't get rotation. Rotation is where they get in trouble because they're not getting to the shooters fast enough.
Shaquille O'Neal against Baker. Shot clock at 12. Just inside. A wonderful pirouette by Shaq.
Footwork unbelievable. I mean, because I thought you had him off the block, he got a chance, but he just used the weight shift of Vin Baker to just take him to the hole.
So nimble, so adroit. Baker says touche at the other end. 33-17 Los Angeles. Baker with 8. Van Exel knocked away, picked up actually. Jones couldn't get a handle on it. And Payton twirling as Nick Van Exel, just in the game, picks up the foul.
Nick Van Exel gets that one. That's Nick too quick, but here's Shaq. Shaq is quick. I can't go Nick too quick. Watch this. Vin is in trouble. Watch him feel it. See, he felt the weight and knew that it was up. Just goes to the other side. Just extraordinary quickness for a man of that size. They sit him down. This is a chance for the Sonics to try to make a run. Shaq 4 of 6.
Approaching 2 to play here in the first quarter. 33-17 Los Angeles. L.A. hitting 75% from the floor. Baker on Eldon Campbell, and they were just kind of jabbing inside. The foul called on newly instated Eldon Campbell.
You know the difference between Eldon and Shaq? If Shaq puts it, he can put one arm on you and keep Vin from moving. Eldon has to put 2 arms on you, and if you do that, that's a foul. I mean, that's just the difference in strength.
33-17 Los Angeles. Here comes Payton working around the defense of Jones. A screen from Baker inside to Ellis. Fox was there defending, holding, and drawing the foul.
He just got caught in a bad position here.
Fox is free to go after this year. He said he'd like to stay in Los Angeles. You know, he turned down when millions of dollars with teams like Cleveland to come to Los Angeles for just $1 million.
Well, that and I think he was looking at somewhat of an acting career as well, was Rick Fox, and he came out and he wanted to do that. But he now feels that he ought to explore what the options are out there. But I think if you're looking to win championships, you've got to look where those best opportunities are. And they're, you know, these teams that are in the last, if you will, in the semifinals of the conference are the teams that have the best chance.
Well, tonight, Rick Fox has written a wonderful tale, 4 of 4 from above the arc. One of the reasons why the Los Angeles Lakers lead it 33-19.
Let's see, can the Seattle Supersonics get stops? Because that's what they need.
Fox again, minute and a half to play in the first quarter. Here comes Campbell, his first offensive touch into Baker and down for 2. Nice shot.
And for Dale, I don't know why he was even in there. You don't want to double Campbell necessarily. And Vin had him turn into the baseline, which you would prefer guys to turn. He's turning baseline. It's still going to be a tough shot because Vin has a half a chance to get there. The big fella sitting on the bench applauding the fact that he didn't have to rush back in, I'm sure.
Some question as to whether Los Angeles needs another year or two of seasoning. This team, the way they played the last 3 games and through 1 quarter, they look brilliant. I don't know if there's a team that can stop it.
They're playing the best basketball of anybody in the playoffs. And when I talked to Dale Harris, he said this is the best basketball they played in years, but clearly this year.
Jerome Kersey riding down the track and had a foul called on Eldon Campbell, who was defending. So they've gone at Eldon twice, and he's got 2 quick ones. Kobe Bryant checks in for the first time tonight. Missed games 2 and 3 and played just a handful of minutes the other afternoon in Los Angeles with yet another Laker win.
Yeah, it allowed the Lakers to stay big because Kobe wasn't on the floor. And I think to some degree it helped Eddie Jones because Eddie Jones could take shots, and if he missed them or made a mistake, he didn't have to be nearly as concerned about Kobe coming off the bench. Now, that's nothing Kobe puts on him. It's just kind of a pressure some players put on themselves, and Eddie Jones had that lifted with the untimely illness of Kobe Bryant.
Here comes Fox, quick break with Bryant at the other end. Sonics get back on defense. Fox again with Van Exel, Campbell, Bryant, and Corey Blount is in the game. He's been great in this series.
Been on the glass doing a lot of the X and O hustle plays.
Nice pass, Van Exel. Blount inside. Corey Blount with a great pass from Van Exel.
Kevin, this is a clinic. They've gone out. Everything that the Sonics have tried to throw at them defensively, the Lakers have just reacted to.
Under a minute to play now in the first quarter. Lakers by 17. They've led by 18. Here's Kersey outside. Looking for Baker. Dueling with Campbell. Up, off, and in.
Campbell's right. He did push off a little bit. Trying to trap it early so they don't get 2 for 1.
Former assistant coach Bob Kloppenberg came up with this defensive scheme you see from Seattle is trapping all over the floor defense.
Purpose is to be disruptive, so you don't have as much time to get the ball down on the block. See, they've got to make a play from here.
Kobe Bryant.
Whoa.
Nice shot by Bryant.
So much for the flu.
The Lakers have hit 12 consecutive shots. 12 seconds to play in the quarter. Payton with Fox defending. This has been a problem for Payton against bigger players on the opposite end. Rejected by Bryant. Knocks it away. Blount got a chance.
Oh, my goodness.
Bill Oakes wiped it away. Will not count.
Oh, I thought that was good. Would have been a breath of fresh air for the Sonics who struggled scored. We get a chance to take a look at it there. You get a chance to take a look at it. Is it out of his hand? Oh, no, actually, that was a great call, but I'm telling you, it looked good from here. Got to give the officials credit. That is a tough call to make with a crowd. They made it correctly.
The Los Angeles Lakers notched their highest scoring quarter of the season. 39-22 Los Angeles. Lakers by 17. They led by as many as 18 in that first quarter. 39-22 Los Angeles. One of the keys for the Lakers, they thought tonight, taking the crowd out of the game. Van Exel said that was very, very important. Baker inside, beginning the second quarter. Bryant knocked it away. A whistle inside. Is Eldon Campbell and Gary Payton exchange words?
Well, it is about time for the Sonics that they come play with a flat out, you're in my backyard, you're wearing me out here. I've got to scratch, claw, do whatever it takes to try to come up with a victory. First of all, Lakers shoot 79% in the first quarter, 15 of 19, 5 of 6 from the three-point line. Rick Fox makes all 4 of his, and the Lakers get 4 blocks. That was just a clinic.
And Baker continues his horrible playoff free throw shooting as Kobe Bryant tries to stretch and get loose.
Yeah, you can take a look right there at the statistics. Baker 5 of 10, 5 of 7 for 10 points. And you know what? The foul shot he just makes, I watched Gary Payton go up to him and say, shoot the ball, because Vin Baker was getting the ball out of his hands. And when you shoot it bad, you just try to get it out of your hands. You don't shoot it. Gary Payton trying to help him out. And he made that.
Campbell, Blunt, Ori, Van Exel, Bryant on the perimeter, dueling with McMillan. And Nate McMillan knocks it out of bounds. Shot clock is down to 9.
Yeah, how about Nate McMillan? He hadn't played a while. They kept him out of a couple games. They put him in this one because they need all the savvy they can muster in this game. He gets called for that foul on Kobe.
And he draws the foul right there. This could be, should the Sonics lose the game, this could be Nate McMillan's final game after 12 years, every one of them in a Sonic uniform.
Yeah, Nick is their coach on the floor. It takes some of the pressure off of Gary Payton, who I think is burdened too much of the burden of this team. I mean, it's hard for a point guard to really lead, handle the ball, have to be your best defensive player and post-up player.
Campbell trying to get it inside. Ball knocked away. Out of bounds. Sonics will come the other way with less than a minute gone here in the second quarter. And Shaq still on the bench.
They've got to reset the clock a little bit because Gary Payton was going to throw the ball to the official. Didn't throw it to him. They put a second back up, and then the clock went off when Payton was going.
This series had all the makings of the most competitive and entertaining of all second-round series, but Los Angeles has shown incredible domination over Seattle, losing game 1, but rattling off 3 consecutive wins. Baker into Blunt, forcing the issue. Baker is pulling up his end. He's got 13 points already.
Yeah, I mean, Baker's been really solid, but the Lakers have. Averaging 103 points, the best of any playoff team, and holding the Sonics to 94. I mean, that's why it's been a different contest, because I don't think anybody thought the Lakers were going to be able to hold the Sonics to just 94 points.
Baker slapping at the ball, draws the foul on the spinning Eldon Campbell.
You see Baker again. Has this time Corey Blunt gets quickly to the middle. Officials let him play, but you saw the intent that time. Baker had been breaking down physically when he got fouled in games 2 and 3 and even 4. Here, you have to complete the play because the official may not call the foul. Matter of fact, they probably won't.
Campbell missing the first free throw. You know, it was a similar situation in the first round when they played at Portland with the chance to close it out. Lakers had checked out of their hotel, had loaded their charter back to L.A. with food and beverages. They thought, hey, we're going to get out of here, but they lost that game. I wonder if they checked out of their hotel tonight.
No, I'm not sure you make the same mistake twice. I mean, I would be somewhat surprised, but, you know, they've got to feel good about how they're playing, Kevin.
Minute and a half gone here in the second quarter. Lakers looking like they're going to close things out, leading 40-25. And there's a foul, and it's called on Robert Horry.
No, interesting matchup. You got Horry guarding Nate McMillan, so you get some real length guarding McMillan. So McMillan can't pick you apart, which is what he does for the Sonics when you take Gary Payton and put him down on the block.
McMillan against Horry. Kobe is on Ellis. Payton is going against Van Exel. Now against Campbell. McMillan for 3. Inside, the rebound is grabbed by Corey Blunt, who is shoved by Kersey, who draws the foul. And Kersey's got his first.
Kersey's off the bench, active. You can take it on that.
Two minutes gone here in the second quarter. Los Angeles has hit 12 consecutive shots dating back to the first. Van Exel through traffic. Baker knocked it away, picked up by Ellis.
Yeah, good defensive pressure there. Nowhere to go with Shaq not in the game.
Payton the other way into Bryant, out to Kersey. And he'll have ramming speed inside. Baker cleans it up.
Shaq's got to go in the game, and I'm looking at Dale Harris. He walked right over there because there's no shot blocker in there. You see them laying the ball up under the rim. You got to get somebody in there to protect the basket.
Sonics trying to revive themselves. Down by 13. Bryant outside. Into Baker. By Baker. In the paint. And down as he floats for two.
Great control by the young player that time.
42-27 Los Angeles. Kersey again. Baker trying the tap. They retrieve it in the corner. Bryant, wild pass. Payton has not hit a shot tonight until right there. Payton is 1 of 6.
Beneficiary of the extra effort by Dale Harris's Lakers that time.
3 minutes gone in the second quarter. Bryant got a screen from Love. Works around that. Campbell and Baker. Shot clock at 8. Campbell with the spin and down. Nothing but net.
See, Baker just didn't have enough strength to guard either one of those guys because they both feel comfortable. Both Shaq and Campbell feel comfortable in that position. That's what Baker's going to have to work on when the season ends for the Sonics.
Into Campbell goes Payton. Out to Ellis. Back to Payton. Thinking about 3. Gary Payton, after missing his first 5 shots, has hit 2 in a row, including a triple. Los Angeles will call time. Gary Payton starting 0 of 5. Hits 2 in a row, plus this 3. And the Sonics to within 12.
We're glad to be in this position. You know, when the whole goal is to try to win it all, and you got to take them one step at a time. And you know, luckily this series got over a little bit quicker, so maybe some of us can rest a little bit.
Jeff Hornacek and Utah put away San Antonio in 5, winning the clincher 87-77. Complete highlights and more post-game yakety-yak coming up at halftime. Right now, back to Key.
All right, Ernie.
Well, one of the things you got to worry about is right here. You want to push a man out here in this position. Vin Baker, without a lot of lower body strength, has a problem with this. What you don't want people to do is get into a comfort zone. Watch Eldon Campbell. Easily gets into a comfort zone, and that's why he's able to knock that shot down. You've got to make guys do things they don't like to do.
Shaq is in the game. Here comes Kersey the other way. Jerome Kersey.
That's the kind of energy they need because they need the fans back in the game.
Nice little run here by the Sonics to get back in this thing after trailing by 18. Now they're down by 10. O'Neal is back in. Another steal picked up by Gary Payton.
That pass was not the typical steal O'Neal.
To Kersey, who's red hot. He's at 3 straight. Outside the Payton. Shot clock and 13. Payton around Bryant into Kersey. Knocked away. Bryant may have gotten a hand on it, but he let the ball go out of bounds. 7 to shoot.
I think that's a lucky possession for Seattle because Gary Payton was raising up to shoot a 3 as Eddie Jones comes in and got in trouble and had to throw it to Kersey. Kersey gets out and hustles on the break. Getting back is trying to be Kobe Bryant, but he can't get there in time.
Hawkins for 3. Rebound. Dale Ellis inside over Jones, and he puts it in.
How about that? Dale gets into the act.
Los Angeles has turned it over their last 2 trips down. The crowd back in the game. 44-46 Los Angeles. Van Exel is doubled and trapped. That looks like the Sonics of old. Into Shaquille. Look out below.
Kersey came over the top. Oh, they gave him 3 seconds. Kersey, I thought, come on the top. And Dale trying to make sure his team stays up. Look at him going one way. He's in the paint. 1, 2. There's no but 3. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He was in there 3 seconds. No question about it. That is not always the case in terms of call. That time it was.
5 minutes gone here in the second quarter. It's Payton off to Baker. Both O'Neal. They pull him out again. Rebound box off his fingertips. Retrieved by Hawkins. Inside Baker. What a pass by Hawkins.
The pass was good. The hustle is better. That's what you've got to do. Come up with loose balls. The Lakers have been doing that in games 2, 3, and 4.
This is the Sonic team we have not seen for 3 games. Los Angeles has turned it over 3 consecutive times. A miss by Van Exel. Picked up by Hawkins. Seattle's got numbers. A 3 by Pete. Oh!
You gotta get a timeout, Dale. There they go.
Pandemonium in Seattle. Timeout Los Angeles. Ben Baker leads everybody in the game with 17.
But it's the hustle plays. Getting down the court, allowing himself to get that play. Then here, Mr. Hustle for the Sonics is Jerome Kersey going down, coming up with that one. The fast break pushes it out. Gary Payton senses the opportunity to get a wide open three, get the fans back in it. After that, Dale has to figure out a way to call a timeout.
Well, on the verge of elimination, if they go to Game 6, it will be on Thursday in Los Angeles. The pressure would be on L.A. because a Game 7 here would not be something the Lakers would want. It's Fox back to Shaq. And like a runaway freight train, he plows inside for 2. Foul is called on the play. Shaq with 12, and the foul is called on Hawkins with number 1 as we check in with Cheryl Miller.
And Kevin, out of that last timeout, Del Harris really upset with his team, especially in their half-court offense. So they were standing around too much, a little too much one-on-one. They certainly didn't have that great ball movement that we saw in the first quarter. And Quinn, just like you said, the difference in Game 3 and 4 are the hustle and scrambling plays that the Sonics are getting.
Yeah, Cheryl, it is really, that always makes a difference in the game. But that shows a team that's playing with a lot more focus. And particularly in this case, I think desperation on the part of the Sonics. They've got to get it.
Jones is climbing over the back of Payton, and Eddie Jones picks up his first foul tonight with 5:49 to play here in the first half. Sonics went on a 12-0 spree for the the two-point play by Shaquille. And the shooting in this quarter. Out of Seattle, not much Los Angeles. Baker over Shaq.
That's the only shot he can really get over Shaq is that turnaround fadeaway, and you're willing to take a chance that he'll miss that because if he misses it, he can't get the rebound. You got to go hurry there. Jerome Kersey's on him. You got to go double him now.
Shaq inside again, handcuffed by Shrimp and Kersey. Another foul. Jerome Kersey picks up his second. Los Angeles led by 18. Since that time, a 31-15 run.
Well, one of the things that made the difference, Kevin, was when Seattle made the run. Most of it was when Shaq was on the bench as he knocks down the first free throw. When he came back on the bench, off the bench, he had some trouble getting going.
Nike halftime report. Ernie Johnson joined by special guest Kenny, the Jet Smith, and Portland Trailblazer point guard Damon Stoudemire.
You don't call him a Jet?
He is a Rocket. We'll call him the Rocket. We'll call Kenny. We'll leave Kenny with the moniker as the Jet.
Okay. The point I was making about Shaquille, when he came off the bench, he was still cold because one of the layups came because he just couldn't jump because he had already cooled down.
Here comes Payton against Jones. And Eddie Jones picks up another foul. He's got 2.
Right here, turning the corner. The aggressive player will get the benefit of the doubt. Eddie Jones wasn't able to get all of his position over there. Second team all defense this year. Eddie Jones, outstanding defensive player.
Perkins back in with Shrimp, Payton, Baker, and Hawkins. Fox guarding Shrimp. Outside to Perkins. Shot clock at 15. Shrimp again. Little pump fake. He'll spin inside.
That's a matchup they haven't been able to get a lot of, Kevin. In games 2, 3, and 4, they didn't get a lot of that because either Corey Blunt or Robert Horry was guarding him. This is a tough matchup for Rick Fox. You see Det go in and try to make contact with that arm, and Rick Fox said arm straight up. Detlef, a veteran, drew that foul.
Shrimp at the stripe with the first of 2. George Karl in elimination games where his team could bow out 13-6. Not that bad a mark. And in the postseason, they've won 8 of the last 10 in that category.
Every game they play from here on in, should it go that way, they're in an elimination situation. So he has a chance to advance that cause. You don't want to be in that position very often.
4:45 to play here in the second quarter. Horry the screen on Van Exel.
Long time to get into the offense. They normally like to be in it by the time they're at 17.
Van Exel for 3 with 3 to shoot. Down it goes for Nick Van Exel with the triple. And the Lakers have hit 6 of 7 from downtown. Hawkins.
Called a hole that time on Robert Horry. 4 of 6 from the line. 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 4 of 6 from
holding Sam Perkins.
Yeah, Perk had the position inside. You see the three-point shooting, unbelievable by the Lakers, 6 of 7. Only 3 of 8 by Seattle. Seattle led the league in that category during the course of the year.
Los Angeles felt coming into tonight, Quinn, they had to match the intensity of Seattle. They knew that the Sonics would be intense and continue to show the patience on offense. The Lakers felt those were the 2 crucial elements heading into tonight.
And they're right. And they've been able to take the fans out of it. So they, and if you will, match the intensity. I thought they led it with the intensity in the first quarter. It is somewhat waned for the Lakers at this point.
Perkins hits another 6-point game for 20 left in the first half.
They've taken Hawkins off of the point guard. Remember, Hawkins is guarding the point guard. They've now put Gary Payton on Van Exel to try to control him more.
Horry into Baker. Inside, room to roam for Robert Horry with a wonderful play. He detonated off that dribble and finds 2.
Boy, I mean, that was one terrific play by Robbie Horry. They've run this play before. Horry wasn't necessarily looking for the ball. You see Vin Baker fouled him first. Horry able to stay with some body control, knocked that one down.
Lakers tonight from the free throw line, 7 of 11. Sonics 8 of 11. Here's Robert Horry. He's really had a wonderful postseason.
Yeah, well, they've got to be pleased. The Lakers, they got 53 points with 4 minutes to go.
They're right on track.
Well, they're ahead of schedule. At this rate, they'll end up with closer to 60. You're talking about a potentially 120-point game. You can't beat people in the league if you let them score that.
Payton for 3. Rebound. Lassoed inside by Horry. Out to Van Exel.
Bad game.
Back on defense, the Sonics. Fox will try and trap.
That's a man that's been making 3-point shots there. A little undecided whether I get a heat check.
But sometimes you like that, don't you? Hey, hit the 3, then try to drive on it next time.
Well, I think that's basketball. They've got to close on you, and you've got to read the close and then make the play from there.
Maxwell trying to guard Payton, doubled by Shaq. Outside it goes on the perimeter. Baker has it now. Into Shaquille, by Horry, to the rack. Down it goes. Baker's been fabulous with 19.
If you can make Shaquille move as Vin Baker did that time, you give yourself an advantage. If you don't force him to move more than 3 steps, he can cover the basket.
Lakers might be trying to slow it down just a bit as Van Exel takes his time crossing the timeline.
This is the same play they ran when he got fouled before.
Horry outside. Jones from 3. Eddie Jones.
The way you want the play run, and then they just make you pay every time.
The Lakers have hit 7 from above the arc. Wheeling and dealing is Payton into Baker with another shot inside, but running rough shot inside over players like O'Neal and Horry. And a foul called, the 3rd on Robert Horry. Another 3. That has been a great move tonight by Los Angeles. The Lakers are shooting 77%, 7 of 8 from downtown, on top by 9, just under 3 to play in the first half. Weeknights on TNT exclusively. Watch Babylon 5, the best sci-fi series ever made, on Thursday. Tune in at 7 o'clock p.m. for Babylon 5. Same kind of war going on here with Quinn Buckner and Cheryl Miller, Kevin Harlan. Lakers are playing great. It's not that the Sonics are playing bad. The Lakers are just unconscious.
It's been that way the entire series. That's why the Lakers are playing the best basketball, I think, of anybody right now. If they make threes, then they put you in a tough position. I think the Sonics have played good defense, and I think the law of averages will tend to come back. What they must continue to do is to play with great competitive fire. If they're able to do that, you have to assume that the law of averages say you shoot 33% from the three-point line. It moves back into the Sonics' favor.
Well, I asked you earlier on in the game, what can Seattle do defensively to stop Los Angeles? And they're running out of cards.
Well, they've got their hands full. You just have to keep playing the game with great effort. Because Shaq will play down low, and if the 3 points go in, you'll just have to take a whip in here. That's all you can do, because it's hard to stop both of them. This game has not changed that much.
Fox with a pass into Shaq.
Reset to play 4.
Always kicked away by Baker. 24-second shot clock reset. 2:46 to play here in the second quarter.
And George Karl knows you got a dominant presence inside, and Shaq, both offensively and defensively. If the team you're playing makes threes, they've got you.
LA's been on a roll. They've hit 18 of their last 20 shots. Shaq inside, this time a little bit off the block, and he hits a nice 10-footer.
He was able to turn and find the basket early. Sam never was able to really contest it.
Shaq is 6 of 8, 16 points. Lakers by 10. They've led by as many as 18. Payton, nice ball rotation to Shrimp. Takes it inside and goes underneath the feet.
Now that miss was not a block by Shaquille, but the missed shot goes to Shaquille because his presence, averaging 3.3 a game with blocks, make Nick Van Exel, Gary Payton shoot it short.
He's altering shots.
Oh, believe me, when you have a guy with that kind of presence, you're looking for him.
Van Exel screaming to Shaq. He put it in! What a shot! The Lakers are in his zone. 8 of 9 from downtown.
I mean, and he stumbled around the pick when he got the shot off.
Woo! 61-48 Los Angeles just before halftime. This is unbelievable. Pass through the hands of Baker, and it ricochets out of bounds. Watch Nick going through a minefield.
Yeah, well, he goes through a minefield, but he gets a huge pick set by Shaquille. Easy, Nick, easy.
61-48 Los Angeles. It's Van Exel dueling with Payton. Blount comes out. He'll not set the screen. Nick will drive. And off to Boyd Blount. The reverse. Tap-in try. O'Neal got a hand on it, but it's off the Lakers. And they say Seattle will inbound Kenny Mauer.
I think the Lakers, the Sonics got a break on that one because I thought Sam Perkins knocked that out of bounds.
Payton again. Shrimp with Blount right there. Baker's been hot. Working on O'Neal. Outside it goes to Hawkins. No call made on Jones. Perkins kept it alive, but right back to Fox.
Oh.
Van Exel slithering, driving, whacked inside by Shrimp and a foul.
Oh, he's back up, and he wants to show him he's tough and ready to go.
He was on his trampoline right there as he bounced off the floor, and they're warning Shrimp.
Well, they're warning Shrimp because it almost got into a fight, and that's why, because Shaquille comes over there. He hits him awkwardly. There's no question about him. Watch. He's awkwardly hit and goes down, and to be sure, Nick gets up, and Shaq comes over to make sure not here.
Here's Van Exel at the line. Now, before the game, Coach Carl Cheryl-Miller was talking about being more angry, being more physical. We're seeing some of that.
And Kevin, there's no question about that. George Karl, before this series ever started, said we have a lot of respect for one another, but we cannot stand each other. But he's the only disappointment he said about this series is that it never reached that emotional level where these guys came out with that anger and that passion, but we're seeing a lot of it in Game 5. It's funny how being on the brink of extinction does that for you.
It sure does. That's what the Sonics position they have themselves in, Cheryl.
Hawkins with an athletic catch. Shot clock is down to 8. Here comes Shrimp. Breaks a pass into Perkins. In traffic, the hook, and the former Laker can't get it to go. Fighting for it inside. Finally claimed by Blount. Gets it off to Van Exel.
Well, Corey Blount has come in and done it. I mean, they keep coming with people like that. Corey Blount, it started with Robert Horry. They've played big, and without Kobe Bryant playing a lot because of his illness, it's really helped the Lakers because they can play big.
Outside, Van Exel for to shoot a 3 off the rim. Rebound inside by Perkins. 3 seconds left. Here comes Payton trying to beat the clock, and he does at the buzzer. Counted for 2, Gary Payton.
Well, let's see if that gives them some momentum, Kevin, because they sorely needed here down 12. Have to play like that for 24 straight. Sam makes a lucky throw, I thought, right there to get it through that traffic, and Gary Payton intent all along to get this to the basket, trying to give his team an impetus to having a strong second half.
The Lakers have been flamethrowers from outside. 1 3-point shot after another. 8 of 10 in the first half. And that has led to the Lakers' 12-point lead at halftime. We go to Atlanta next.
Well, in game 1 of this series in Seattle, the halftime score was 62-50. Seattle had the lead over the Lakers. It is 62-50 Lakers tonight as they try to close out Seattle in 5 games. And we welcome you to the Nike halftime report. Boy, they've been hitting 3-pointers. 8 out of 10 for the Lakers in the first half. I'm Ernie Johnson. This is Kenny Smith. This is Damon Stoudemire. Unreal start for the Lakers, and this thing almost ran them right out of the gym in the first quarter.
Yeah, like I've been saying all along, the Lakers right now are playing the best basketball that they've probably played all season. And, I mean, the first half, they showed why, you know, getting the ball in the shack, you know, the great ball movement, Robert Horry for the 3. You know, I mean, they've been doing that the whole first half.
Rick Fox at 4 out of 4, too, Dave.
Yeah, you know, Rick Fox, he's been playing great, spotting up, hitting his open looks, and I think he gave the Lakers a real big boost in that first half.
4 threes in the first quarter. This from a guy who went 0 for 5 from the field in the previous game. Meantime, the second quarter, some reason for hope for the Sonics.
Yeah, the Lakers came out, great deal of poise, hitting the open man, hitting the open shot, defensively smothering the Sonics. But then the Sonics got back in the game. They hustled their way back in the game, and that was probably the key. Just straight-up hustle plays. Vin Baker misses the shot. Hersey Hawkins runs it down after 3 Lakers. Then he finds a wide-open Vin Baker on an alley-oop play. Nice hustle play to keep you back in the game like this when you're getting blown out on your own gym. Secondly, he had to miss a forced shot by Van Exel. Kersey, hustle play, gets it over to Gary Payton. He says, I'm going to seize the moment. We got to get back in it. I'm going to hit a 3 instead of a 2. They get back in the game, but the Lakers, again, showed some great deal of poise. Van Exel hit some shots. Shaq hit some big shots. Now they're up 12.
Lakers with a 12-point lead. And are they talking, and I'm going to spit this out eventually, are they talking after watching that earlier game and seeing Utah already advance, saying, we got to take care of business tonight?
Well, I've been in that position when I was with Houston, and you don't pay attention to what's going on. I tried to block everything out. As a team, we tried to block it out. Said we have to take care of our own business. Don't worry about Utah.
Vin Baker has 20 points in the first half to lead Seattle, but they are down by a dozen after 24 minutes. When we come back, highlights of tonight's Game 5 between the Spurs and the Jazz, and I already gave this one away. Utah advancing with a win over San Antonio. We'll show you how Karl Malone and the guys did it when we come back. Earlier tonight at the Delta Center, Jazz owner Larry Miller working the room. Must have worked. Brian Russell, early on, hit consecutive threes. And it's a 27-20 Utah lead over San Antonio. David Robinson in the first half, only 6 points, and sat down with 3 fouls. Meantime, Utah pouring it on. Mailman off the mark, Stockton, hustle. And Jeff Hornacek wide open for an 11-point Utah lead. They were up by 10 over Greg Popovich's Spurs at the break. Third quarter, more San Antonio misery. Rookie of the year with an air ball. Avery Johnson turned it over 6 times on the night. Avery has been having them fall all series long, not tonight. Had 13 points. Later, John Stockton catches an elbow from David Robinson, who caught one on the other side of the lane earlier in the season. But it's Stockton to Malone. Thought I wouldn't get a chance to say that in these highlights, but there it is. 87-77, Utah closes out San Antonio in 5. Malone goes 24 and 13. Hornacek adds 19. Here's what everybody was saying after the game.
You know, it's frustrating. I mean, we've been through this a lot of times. You know, a couple of us, not all of us, but it gets old quick.
You know, when the whole goal is to try to win it all, and you got to take them one step at a time. And you know, luckily this series got over a little bit quicker, so maybe some of us can rest a little bit.
Well, I think everybody needs a day off. I'd like to get away from them too. I'm tired of yelling at them. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's working for Jerry Sloan. He's getting consistent performances out of his 2 big guys, Stockton and Malone. You see the 98 season numbers, and you got to do it in the playoffs, too. What you do in the regular season, Stockton and Malone doing just that through the playoffs, and they are into the Western Finals for the 3rd straight year and the 5th time in the last 7. A sense of urgency at work tonight for one side, but not the other, Damon.
Yeah, I think that we've seen Utah play with a sense of urgency tonight. You know, I don't think San Antonio came out with the intensity that they might have wanted, and therefore they weren't able to do the things they wanted to do in the game.
Yeah, I think he's totally right. I mean, the sense of urgency, wanting to win. See, Utah said, we have home court advantage, but we don't want to have to use it over again, kind of treating it like anti-lock breaks. We have it, it's good to know, but if I got to use it, that means I'm about to crash, so I don't want to even try to use it.
I'm not going to put Seattle away yet because they got another half to play here, but if it is the Lakers and the Jazz for the Western Finals, will things be different than they were last year in the Western semis when Utah took them 4 out of 5?
Well, I think that they can. I think it'll be a tough series. I think that the Lakers so far in the playoffs have proven that when they're hitting their shots, they're a tough team to beat. But Utah has also proven that they've been able to do some great things.
Well, everyone says that the Lakers are a young team, but I always say they're young, but they're experienced. You've got
Robert Ory. Heart of a champion.
Heart of a champion. You got Shaquille's, been to the finals. You got Rick Fox, played with the big three, McHale, Bird, and Parrish. These guys are young, but they have a great deal of experience, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Could be a whale of a final, but we still have a half to go.
They have to get by Seattle.
They certainly do. Back to wrap up the Nike halftime report in just a second. Hey, look at this. They've done some work on the bracket wall. Utah into the Western Conference Finals. One of the highlights of the evening, certainly.
Wow.
The NBA playoffs return to Seattle on TNT. We're at halftime where the Los Angeles Lakers have built up a comfortable lead of 62-50 over the Seattle Supersonics with Quinn Buckner and Cheryl Miller, Kevin Harlan. Listen to these numbers. Free throw shooting for the Lakers, 57%. Two-point shots, 71%. Three-point shooting, 80%. They're hot.
Yeah, they're hot. That's a little bit backwards now. The real challenge for Dale Harris in halftime was to get his team not to fall in love with the three-point shot, particularly when it doesn't come out of a kick-out play. If they're kicking it out, you can get some things good. Wide open there. Robert Ory drills one. That time, Rick Fox, no pressure, he drills one. Nick Van Exel got it again out of the offense, and then a play right there, Eddie Jones. So they had four guys knock down the three-point shot, as you can see. 80%, they're 8 of 10 from there. They only got to miss one. Nick missed one out of 3, and then Robert Ory missed one. Rick Fox was 4 for 4. They've got to continue to get the ball in the shack and let the offense play. More importantly for Seattle, they've got to be able to turn the ball over or turn the Lakers over, because when they did, they were successful. Lakers had 9 turnovers, gave up 17 points on 7 steals. That's the kind of play the Sonics have to have.
All right, more on Seattle with Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. And I think body language really says it all. For Coach Carl came out shaking his head. He said, Cheryl, they're shooting the ball extremely well. Not a whole lot you can do. Because, matter of fact, we're lucky just to be down by 12. But if you look at the third quarter and what it has meant in this series, it's not a pretty sight. The Lakers in the third quarter averaging 28 points, and they're shooting 51% from the floor, 53%. And Coach Carl certainly shaking his head, does not know what he's going to do defensively. And Quinn, what do you do when a team is this hot from the perimeter?
What you have to do is challenge them a little bit more on the shot. I think you go down and double team on Shaq, but you've got to get back to the shooters, and at this point, make them put the ball on the floor, and then you've got to cover up. This is an all-out effort for the Sonics because there is no tomorrow if they don't get it done here in the second half. Second half numbers don't look good to them as a rule, but we'll see what happens here tonight.
And some of the leading scorers, Shaquille with 16, Fox with 12. And for the Sonics, Baker's got 20, Payton's got 10. Sonics have cut an 18-point deficit to 3. Lakers then went on an 18-9 run over the last 6 minutes of the second quarter. Here we go, starting the second half. It's Baker against O'Neal.
Shoot the jump shot. Don't waste your time trying to dribble around it.
With 5 seconds on the shot, that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, because on the left side, Finn doesn't come to the middle as good if he's facing up. If he's on the, on the right side, because he's right-handed. On the left side, he'll take it to the basket, so shoot it.
Baker with 22. Ory finds O'Neal, but right in the way of that pass was Kersey. Picked up by Payton. Back to Kersey. Into Ory to the right.
He started here in the second half. They made a big switch, taking Sam Perkins out of the lineup. Kersey starting on Shaquille O'Neal, getting the steal and the basket.
8-point game, about a minute gone here in the third quarter. Robert Ory working on Baker into Shaq and pumps into Baker with an easy 2. 10-point game.
See, they can trap and do whatever they want in the Lakers. If Ben Baker or none of the Sonics are going to try to attack or trap, you can do what you want to do.
They push Fisher in with the back middle of Payton. That was a wonderful move by Payton.
That didn't come to double team. I mean, Dale Harris backed this guys off from double teaming. I think he'll save that to later in the game unless Gary Payton gets away from him.
Jones into Shaq, shove, gains his footing, and then is shoved out once again. And a foul called on Seattle.
Gary Payton here. See, they don't double. See, Jones is standing. He's trying to tell like it was Shaq, but if nobody goes, that's too easy of a shot. And then coming back on the other end, Shaq gets a nice lob. He gets nudged right there on the catch. And then Ben Baker tries to make sure that Shaq, who was under the basket, stays there, forcing to shoot foul shots.
Baker picks up the foul. Shaquille O'Neal is probably coming off perhaps his most complete big game of his career with the win. He is playing almost single-handedly the Sonics into submission.
Well, he's doing what Jerry West thought he would do, and that's dominate the center position, which if you're going to play championship basketball, rule number one, you must control the paint offensively and defensively. Get easy points, keep other teams from getting it.
Shrimp, that's the first Seattle miss in this half. Here come the Lakers the other way with Fisher locating Jones. Throws a cross-court pass to Fox, takes the three inside, trying for two and a foul on Kersey.
Well, just what we talked about. See, they're running and shooters. Force him to put it on the ground. Kersey picks up his third and trying to keep Fox from getting to the basket. But you got to make them do something a little different. And that's what they try to do, but you can't foul him.
Kersey with three. Fox leaving the Boston Celtics this year as a free agent, signing $1 million. Where's number 17? He said the Celtics won 16 championships. I'm going to be thinking of why wearing number 17. Possibility that in Boston with my number in Los Angeles. You think he's going to test the free agent market after this year?
I think he's going to take a hard look at it. I'm not sure he has a lot of options, but I still think he may end up with the Lakers. But if you want to play for a championship, you got to play with teams that are going to somewhere be in the running.
Lakers by 10. 2 minutes gone here in the third quarter. Payton locates Kersey for two. Baker trying to tap it in. Kersey with all that passion inside, hooks it home.
Well, he's got the most energy. He didn't play heavy minutes during the year. Was hurt for a while, separated shoulder, and so his minutes were down. But he's going to expend it all trying to guard Shaquille, I guarantee you.
Not gonna have to play. Fox inside maneuvering. Morey tried to tap it in. O'Neal clutches onto it, comes up with two. And he's fouled.
Well, they got what they wanted to. Drive to the basket and miss. Shaquille just overpowers Kersey. I mean, there's a miss. Baker didn't come up with it either time, and then Shaquille just gets it. He just overpowers Baker. Baker wants to know, how is that a foul? Oh, it's a foul, all right. That's his fourth, unfortunately. I think they've got to make a decision to get him out of the game.
So Shaquille O'Neal tonight with 21. George Karl had something interesting to say. He said, now I change my opinion. I think that Shaquille O'Neal is the most difficult guy to prepare for in the NBA.
I still say 23s in the lineup. Michael Jordan is so good. I mean, at this stage of his career, I don't know that there's some truth to what George says, but I would be as concerned, not more concerned about Michael Jordan, because he knows how to win championships because he's done it. I think that's the issue.
Well, let's take a look at it. Jordan, O'Neal, and Karl Malone, who's had a terrific series with Utah as they got by San Antonio tonight. They advanced to the Western Conference Finals.
You take a look at the numbers. You can see the percentage. Shaquille, 63. Karl, 45. Jordan, 48%. I mean, and the thing about Karl is that he gets it from John Stockton. Takes a lot of the pressure off of him, even though I think Karl is a terrific player. There's no shortchanging shot. You watch Michael Jordan day in and day out, and you see his team stumble offensively because he can handle the ball. He can bring them back. None of the other guys have that same ability.
Perkins is in with Shrimp and Kersey, backcourt of Hawkins and Payton. Fox for three, his first miss from downtown tonight. Picked up on the rebound by Shrimp. They'll go chugging the other way. And reload with Payton. Fox on now, a little mismatch defensively. Oh, they got the double screen from Shrimp. A three-point miss by Payton.
What they got was a double hole from Shrimp. He held Eddie Jones, and he was holding anybody else that was in the area.
Fisher dancing on the wing inside to Shaq from Fox, knocked away by Perkins, and a foul. I guess when you've won the last 3 games by an average of 17 points a game, you can...
Well, I'm not sure that's something Del Harris would be anxious to see. I mean, his team is out now just a 10-point lead, but I'm sure when it's time for the quick to get in the game, they'll be wide awake.
Here's Shaquille, who is now 6 of 10 on the free throw lines. And I was going to say, if he had any more gray hairs to get, we'd see him. But Del Harris is pretty gray already.
You know, I think Del Harris has done a terrific job with this young team. I really do. I think he's managed to get them to understand some of the things it takes to win. I still think they're growing in the process. They haven't been together that long. With Rick Fox being added to the mix, but he's done a terrific job of getting them to play together.
Kersey tried the fake. Perkins outside. Shot clock at 7 for number 7, Kersey.
Look at the basket.
Payton inside. Jace O'Neal dumps it to Kersey for 2.
That's another Shaquille miss, if you will, because Kersey went in there and wouldn't shoot it. Payton went in there and wouldn't shoot it. And then you end up with Kersey shooting a little jumper he doesn't make.
Shaq has 6 rebounds. Lakers on top by 10. They've led by 18. That was back in the first half. Horry to Fox to O'Neal. Back to Horry. Shaq has been great at getting out of those double teams with passes. Fisher for 3.
Oh, he pushed it.
Bad. Real bad.
Yeah, there's no question. Eddie Jones had position. And Eddie was in solid position, but George Karl had Gary Payton trying to get in position, realized he couldn't, so all he could do was nudge him to keep him from getting the rebound.
Payton picks up his 2nd personal foul.
Now they're in the bonus.
7:40 third quarter, too. That's very early.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
7:40. That's early for George Karl's Sonics to be in this bonus situation. And Shaquille got 2 of those 5.
Here's Jones in Seattle, 77% from the free throw line. The NBA playoffs continue tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern time on TNT. Game 5, the Knicks and Pacers. Then Game 5, the Hornets and Bulls. 9:30 on that start from the United Center.
I think we all here at TNT would like to congratulate the Indiana Pacers, Larry Bird, for getting Coach of the Year. I mean, I think he's done an outstanding job there to get that veteran team to come and play the way they have.
Smith with the hook shot, faced very little pressure. Rebound by Fox. It comes up on Fox. Horry with O'Neal, Fisher, Fox, and Eddie Jones, who gets the ball and works on Perkins. Shot clock down to 10 for Shaq. Out to Fox. Thought about 3. Fisher for 2. Rebound Shrimp.
Well, I'm telling you, they play basketball. They just missed a shot because Gary Payton was guarding Shaq.
7 to play in the third. Shrimp with the hesitation, the spin, and out to Perkins. He'll put up the 3 ball.
So now they're at a point they can't make shots. Now, at this point, you got to take it to the basket and try to get fouled.
Well, he's got 8 rebounds.
So they rotate, and Detlef is guarding Shaquille this time. They're putting almost everybody gets a shot at it.
Shot clock at 6. Fox gets it inside to Horry. He plows into Payton. And he taps up and in his own miss. Pretty play by Robert Horry.
Well, Robert Horry had himself in foul trouble, so he didn't really want to go after it and try to go hard. So he backed off, and you see Horry take it to the glass. Now watch Kersey back off, and he never gets back into play and gets ticked off. He takes the ball and shows his displeasure. But Horry is having a heck of a game.
Back here in Seattle, there's Leonardo DiCaprio, 74-60. The Lakers on top, and the Seattle ship might be listing a bit. Sonics are taking on water.
Well, if they are, then all hands are going to have to help bail out this team. That's for sure.
Have to swab the deck. Hawkins. And Kersey had room to fire and buries him.
To that point, David, both teams have now scored 12 points. Oh, no!
Look out! Shaquille O'Neal.
I mean, that's what makes him hard to defend. I mean, you get down there, and Robert Horry's got the ball in really a non-attack position, and Shaquille is down there, and they just wing it up there.
Lakers by 14. They've led by 18. Shrimp with 3. He continues to struggle tonight. Rebound Kersey fighting inside.
Great effort. He's giving them all kinds of effort.
That is a night to forget so far when he's had 2 great games in a row for the Sonics.
Yeah, they need that to come on. They need somebody else to score some points.
Fisher in mid-flight gets it off to Jones, left open for 3. He had not a single Sonic in his face, and the Lakers just like that on top by 15.
Paul will see where the defensive help is coming from and find the open man.
Approaching 5 to play here in the third quarter. Kersey to Payton. Jones on Gary Payton. Back inside to Kersey. Well, he's come off the bench with a nice spark.
Yeah, but he's going to wear down. He's got to. I mean, and that's what the Lakers want to do. They felt if they could keep it close, getting into the fourth quarter, that you'll wear down. Kersey's running on both sides.
Here comes Shaquille. Threw it away out of the triple team. Picked off by Payton. 3-on-2 off the Shrimp for 2. Shrimp has 6.
One of the few transition plays they had.
They're going to bring Van Exel off the bench next stoppage of play.
Because Dell wants to get some more energy from his club on the bench. On the floor. They're not really out running, which the Lakers do very well.
Fox to Eddie Jones. Hawkins is there. Shot clock at 4. Into Shaq. Triple teamed.
Jump ball.
Wonderful play. He was draped with Sonic defenders inside.
Had him in all areas, and Jerome Kersey has just been great for his Sonic team. He gets in here, and Shaq, you can take your choice there. All ball. Shaq may have gotten hit in the back early, but they didn't call that. But then Jerome Kersey gets that. Now, if he gets this jump, he's having a yeoman's day.
It is a more serious Shaquille O'Neal we have seen in this playoff series.
It's a more mature Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, he went to the finals, remember, with Orlando and Houston, and they played there, and they got beat by the Houston Rockets when the Rockets won. And he knows it is so very hard to get back to that final situation. Every game, you have to take it seriously.
Here comes Trump, the breakaway. Sonics down by 9, 79-70.
I don't know why you would ever tap the ball that hard toward the other basket. And I don't know if Shaquille thought his teammates would get there. They did not.
Sonics have outscored Los Angeles 6-0. They trail by 9. The crowd back in it late in the third quarter. And it's Fox to the double team. O'Neal out to Van Exel for 3. Oh!
And Nick says, sit down. He does his little motion. Everybody's up, and he kind of pushes everybody back down to their seat.
Kersey the other way. 3.5 to play in the third. Kersey tries. Shaquille swats it away. Picked up by Horry. 4 blocks for Shaq. Weaving is Van Exel. Horry to Fox. Quick ball rotation to Jones.
Good patience by this young team, because all you got to do is wait.
That's a great point. O'Neal does, and it gets stuck.
Oh, what a bad break for the Sonics. That's a jump ball.
It will be a jump ball.
Yeah, because the Sonics had the rebound. There was not a Laker in sight, and the way they're struggling to stop the Lakers, that benefits the Lakers.
Van Exel with the 3 right off the bench. He's not in more than a minute. Bang, he knocks one in.
Right there in your face. You see going out at him a little late was Dale Ellis. He knocks down the 3. Just Nick, the quick. Sit down, he says.
The Lakers have gone 10 of 14 from three-point territory. Shaquille O'Neal has been out. He's got 24. Los Angeles again by 12.
When you're playing defense, you got to understand what teams are doing. Shaq offensively is going to get double, triple team here, but watch what happens. It goes, and then you got to worry about rotation. Right here, watch what he does with the ball. He'll start this way where Det is supposed to get back, but the ball fake keeps him going. Watch, the ball fake keeps Det going. He should have been going back. That's why Eddie Johnson gets to play. In playoff basketball, little things like that make the difference, and you must give Derek Fisher some credit on that block.
92 players can jump with that ball stuck there, wedged between the rim and the glass. And so they've chosen Perkins for Seattle, O'Neal for Los Angeles. And the three-point shooting in the game. Remember now, Seattle was the #1 three-point shooting team in the NBA during the regular year.
Whoa! Shaquille twice has tapped the ball, and this time he was trying to get it back to Nick. And the last time it was a fast break for the Sonics. This time it's a violation out of bounds to the Sonics. Shaq too strong with the tap.
Sonics have dropped 3 in a row to Los Angeles. It's the longest losing streak this year by Seattle. Never lost 3 in a row this season. Peyton drives into Ellis, bobbled it away. Shrimp to clean it up. His finger roll won't fly. Picked up by O'Neal. Throws it away. Picked up by Ellis.
Well, Shaq that time just got a little careless with the pass.
Peyton for 3 over O'Neal.
Over the back.
Over the back and out of bounds. LA gets the ball. And under George Karl, we talked about the 3 consecutive losses. They have not lost 4 in a row in the 6.5 years that George Karl's been their coach.
Now, that's a pretty good record. He's faced with now is, again, playoff basketball. You play a team 3, 4, 5 times. You know more of their intricacies, the nuances of what they try to do. And Del Harris and his staff has been able to take advantage of that. It doesn't hurt if you got the big fella in there knocking down shots for you and threes flying from all positions.
Shaq misses the shot. Shrimp cleans it up. Lakers by 12. Final 2:15 of the third quarter. Lakers are shooting only 50% in this half. It's Ellis for 2. Rebound by Blunt out there with Van Exel, O'Neal, Jones, and Fox.
This is where you need anger. Get angry down here if you're going to get angry. If you miss shots, you just miss them.
Here's Van Exel guarded by Nate McMillan. Shot clock at 6. Jones to Van Exel to O'Neal. Jones for 3. Rebound. Blount fighting inside with Shrimp, and a foul called on Corey Blount of the Lakers. That's number 1 on him.
Come back in with Ben Baker to try to get him going. He's got 22 points, 4 fouls, trying to deal with Shaq.
Shaq will take a breather. Eldon Campbell comes in for Los Angeles for the final 140 of the third.
I like this substitution on the part of Del Harris, because Shaq gets to sit down this entire minute 43, plus whatever break action comes in here as well.
Payton doubled. There's a whistle and a foul on the Lakers inside. Van Exel was there, and Payton tried to exploit that. Foul called, I think, on Van Exel. Make it Campbell. They change it. It's Campbell with his third.
You have to wonder about the load on Gary Payton. You see he's 5 of 14. He has been virtually carrying his team right now, averaging 24 points a game and 22 in this series, but he's playing 42 minutes a game. That's a lot of minutes.
The first couple years he was in the NBA, first 2 years I thought he was a bust.
Well, yeah, the real thing with Gary Payton was that he has a real an attitude that if you're not accustomed to, you think that's the way he is as a person. He's actually a pretty good person. He just has a real strong will to win and a demeanor that most people aren't used to.
Van Exel tries to feed, finds Campbell, swatted away inside by Perkins. Campbell again. Another foul inside call. It's on Perkins. He's got 3.
Yeah, but you got to come up with the loose ball the first time. The ball hits the floor. There's no way, or it didn't get to the floor, and then Sam reaches in there. Clearly, the second one is a foul. Campbell does a good job of making it, but when you get the ball, knock it free, Kevin, you got to come up with it.
What'd you say the other night that you think you got to have strong wrists and strong hands, especially in the playoffs?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you have to been building them all along, but during the playoffs, because the game you're allowed to play, which means the officials may not call where you get hit on the finger sometimes, maybe even on the hand. If you don't play strong or with force, you get beat in this game. It's just that simple.
Campbell is 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Sonics have it down by 11, 1:10 to play, third quarter. Payton. Kobe Bryant in the game now. First time in the second half. McMillan, Perkins, into Baker. Nice passing.
Nice passing. Good interior passing. No shot.
Bryant is trapped and doubled. He gets it off to Campbell.
And this is a good job. Don't let him get it back.
Bryant goes down. Van Exel shows patience. Screen by Campbell opens up a door for Van Exel. Rebound corralled by Fox in a fresh 24.
Yeah, but you got to come up with the ball. I mean, shooting a three-pointer, you know there's going to be a long rebound.
Van Exel for 3. Oh, what a shot by Van Exel.
And Nick is laughing. He knows he's on a roll. What a backbreaker for the Sonics. They were making a run, would have had the last shot, or close to the last shot of the quarter. Nick deals a 3.
Van Exel has gone 4 of 5 from above the arc, and now Van Exel, Bryant, and Payton have got to be separated.
Well, Payton he didn't tick off, but you see, Kobe isn't backing up.
And let's go back and watch this altercation, if we can label it that.
Well, it gets right here, and then there's a hard foul, and then the ball gets thrown at Kobe Bryant, and then Gary Payton and he get into it, and then Nick does a good job being, arbitrator there, trying to make sure nothing's going on. And then Nick is trying to tell Kobe, hey, we don't need this.
Van Exel's become a leader on this team. It's a double technical, one on Bryant, one on Gary Payton. They nix each other out. Here's Payton, who was fouled at the free throw line.
So when Nick went out with his left knee, when he was hurt with his left knee, it came back, and they started Derek Fisher. But Nick agreed to it, which is not something that you would have thought of with Nick Van Exel. And then he's had all these kinds of various verbal confrontations with Del Harris. Obviously, that has moved past both of them. And I think that's partially due to the maturity of Nick Van Exel, to his credit.
They brought him back off the bench. They said he could start. He said, no, you know, I'd rather come off the bench. And I think what your point is, he's matured so much he's become a leader on this team.
Well, he's accepted it. I'm not sure he would have accepted it last year, but clearly 2 years ago, he would not have accepted that.
Bryant lost it. Kersey tried to save it. It's off Seattle. Shot clock and game clock now at 5.7 seconds.
Look for Nick to try to get this one. He likes to try to get one of these if he can, to try to get the clock.
It's Fox, Kersey over Ellis, and they got just the defense they needed. And the Sonics finished the third quarter with the defensive flourish. And they've got that anger. That's what they were looking for coming into tonight. But the three-point shot by the Lakers has ruled the game. It's the Lakers by 10. Well, with Leonardo DiCaprio, a big Laker fan, the Sonics here need all hands on deck. Because down 3-1, a loss tonight, and they're gone. But Miami last year was down 3-1, came back and beat New York. In fact, this Seattle team was down 3-1 in the second round to Houston, and they forced a Game 7, so it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. Only 3 of those teams went on to win championship, the Houston Rockets and both of those Celtic teams. It is a very unusual circumstance. You've got to have your game going, but closing them out. You can take the Lakers and look and see they have never lost a playoff series when they've gone up 3-1.
Pretty impressive. We begin the fourth quarter. Here's Nick Van Exel working on Peyton, Horry, Bryant. They got O'Neal back in. Cloud is on the wing at 3 by Van Exel with the rare miss. And Seattle's got it.
They had to get a hustle play just to come up with it. 2 Sonics almost fell out of bounds, so they got the defensive stop. Now they got to make plays. Make some offensive plays and get the fans back on them.
Sonics had no third quarter turnovers and trail by 10. Out to McMillan for 3. What a big boost that would be had he hit that. Out of bounds. And the Lakers have it as we check in with Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Well, Dale Harris out of this timeout. Hey, he said this game plan is very simple. Defensively, we want to limit the Sonics to 1 shot, and offensively pound the ball down into the big man, draw the double team, kick, and try to hit the knock down the open shots. Just like Quinn Butner would have diagrammed it.
Oh, you got that right. Here comes Bryant in on Baker. Shot clock at 6.
In other words, he said, Kevin, keep it simple.
Oh, I go inside where it's the most simple with Shaquille O'Neal and a jackhammer.
His shooting percentages are in your favor with the big fella. So you get it down there first, and then if they cover that up, then we'll just move out and make the plays from there.
88-76 the Lakers. It's Baker back to McMillan.
See, they don't want to have to play against it. I mean, knocks that down. Then Baker dribbling the ball on shot. Nick Van Exel at 1.5.
They had missed 7 consecutive threes until that hit right there. And McMillan, who is the emotional leader of the Sonics, playing on a bad knee, a bad back, and a bad shoulder, perhaps in his final game as a Sonic. He'll retire after the series. Van Exel rattles out, rebound, McMillan.
He knows that this could be it for him, so he's playing some. Oh, he got away with a push.
Peyton over O'Neal, and he can't get it to go. Picked up by Plum, a whistle, and a foul inside.
I thought the big fella almost blocked that with the wind from the swat on that play, because Peyton had him where he wanted him. You see him get it inside, thinks he's got to open, is like, whoop, closed up. Sorry.
Timeout, Los Angeles.
There's no need for a lot of talk right now. It's we know what the job is at hand and what we have to do, and now we have to do it. And we have to be good enough to do it.
How good are the Knicks? We'll find out in the Game 5 Wednesday on TNT. Knicks at Market Square to face the Pacers, followed by the Hornets and Bulls in their Game 5. That's Wednesday on TNT. Now let's go back to Key, Kevin, Quinn, and Cheryl.
All right, EJ, thank you very much. Here's some headlines around the NBA through tonight. And, of course, at the top, Utah clinching a Western Conference Finals appearance. The Bulls and Pacers tomorrow night. Larry Bird, the NBA Coach of the Year, as a rookie head coach in the league.
Yeah, that's a pretty good feat. But then, you know what, you got to talk something about the Utah Jazz. I mean, they were able to come and play against that big three, if you will, the 7-footers. There's a tough shot there by Ori. Wrong leg, going the wrong way, and get it with a touch to go down. That's a pretty good shot.
Everything was wrong except the basket, right?
Yeah, well, but for the Jazz, everything was right, including Karl Malone, who made his team, he willed his team to a win in Game 4.
Here's Payton outside. Ellis thinking about a three. Tries on Ori and tries to take it inside the teeth of the Los Angeles defense.
So I think that's what one of the things you have to do. When you're struggling to score, you better take it to the hoop.
McMillan will leave, and they bring in Hawkins. Dale Ellis at the free throw line. Ellis, Schrempf, Baker, Payton, and Hawkins. Sonics 5. O'Neal, Van Exel, Blum, Bryant, and Ori. Hey, remember to stick around after the game for Inside the NBA with Vince Trellini tonight. Vince joined by Miami forward P.J. Brown. They'll wrap up tonight's playoff action. Plus, look ahead to tomorrow's doubleheader here on TNT after the game. Inside the NBA. Lakers by 10. Beaten by 18. In the first half. It's Ori to Bryant. Here's Shaq playing the second half. Ori, Van Exel was there. Shot clock showing off inside the Shaq. The pass too high.
Well, they had what they wanted to because the shot clock was down.
Shaq wide open.
Shaq's wide open on the other end.
Sonics to within 8. 8:42 to play. Ori, O'Neal, double. Bryant from 3. Kaboom!
Kobe Bryant.
Wow.
Flew and all, knocks that one down. Set the fans down.
Lakers have hit 12 three-point shots tonight. 12 of 20. Halftime, they were 8 of 10. Here's Schrempf, takes the 3, hesitated, and out of bounds off Blunt.
I thought Blunt touched it, but I tell you what, Detlef Schrempf made a cardinal mistake in basketball. You don't jump in the air looking to pass. He was looking to take a shot, and Ori closed on him so fast he had nowhere to go. Sonics are very fortunate on that possession.
12 to shoot. 8:13 to play in the fourth. The Lakers win. They advance beyond the second round for the first time in 7 years. Sonics lost. They're eliminated and gone. Could be a lot of changes, but with plays like that from Hersey Hawkins, they are still breathing. Count now 93 to 85.
Make the offense tough for you. Throw it to Shaq. And they're trying to keep the ball from being on that side. That's why Hawkins got it picked up so high.
Jones and Fox are in. O'Neal over Payton. Easily against the glass for 2.
What strength, Kevin.
Shaq to the free throw line.
I mean, Vin Baker works as well as he can to get in his position. Oh, he's all over him. He's got 4 fouls, does Vin Baker, at this particular time. Shaq's got 1 foot in the paint. I mean, he goes through there, and you can see the elbow by Vin underneath. Shaq puts it in. Big fella.
Think he's more advanced at 26 years of age than Hakeem Olajuwon or Patrick Ewing, some of the big name centers?
He's showing a lot of savvy here, I'll tell you that. Whether he's more advanced is pretty hard to say. He's got a pretty good cast to go along with that. That helps.
Trent muscling inside into Eddie Jones. 96-87 Los Angeles, 7.5 to play.
You pride yourself at defense. This is the time for Seattle to show it at its best.
Well, they're traditionally a pretty good defensive team. Fox is long. Rebound by Baker. And a shove between O'Neal and Schrempf. And this is on Shaq. That's the third on O'Neal.
Yeah, they really got tangled up down on this end. Baker gets the rebound, and he tries to run. And truthfully, you know what that was? Shaq didn't feel like running down court. I'm serious. That was one, I'm not going to chase you down court, because I know Vin's on the other side. I can't get to him.
Here's Schrempf. Ori is guarding him. Shot clock is down to 10.
Take it quick.
It's Baker across the lane. Over O'Neal, and it won't go. Rebound, Ellis. A foul inside, or they call it jump ball?
Well, they call a foul on Robert Ori on that play.
It's a 9-point game, but Dale Ellis fighting inside saves the ball for Seattle. Time now to take a look at tonight's touch boy in the paint. And even though Los Angeles is known for inside domination tonight, it's been Seattle by 12 in the lane. Watch shots though on the other end. Lakers on top there by 5 more than the Sonics.
Yeah, the paint has been very well controlled by the Sonics. An unusual circumstance, but the boards are always going to be the issue. Whether or not you can rebound the basketball after you defend. And add to tonight's game the fact that the Lakers are just shooting the ball from the three-point line with great efficiency. Better than 60%. That's a hard combination for you to beat, but that is the task that's going to be out in front as you take a look at Shaq. But that's when it's in front of the Sonics.
Shot clock at 20. Payton outside. The screen by Baker, and I think he bumped into Payton, which threw him off stride. The traveling violation on Payton.
Well, it was either that or they would have called an offensive foul on Vin Baker, and they called a travel. Because watch Vin. See, he steps and he's still moving.
Little hop.
Yeah, so he forced him to hop right there. So they really did it. You know, that's kind of the way the game is officiated, and I think that's fair.
That's Seattle's first turnover in the second half, and their first since a minute left in the second quarter. Jones with an acrobatic move and a foul.
The two things you don't want coming out of a timeout is if you have the ball, don't turn it over. If the other team has the ball, don't foul. They've made the 2 cardinal sins in the successive plays.
Eddie Jones has been a great force for the Lakers in this series.
It was funny, Eddie Jones came to Nick Van Exel and said, Nick, I need to get myself involved in the game. And this was after game 1 where he had 9 points. And Nick said, hey, you're a 2-time All-Star. You get yourself involved in the game. And even Eddie's mother called him and said, son, you got to be more aggressive with the ball because they can't guard you. And that's what he started doing.
Payton finds Kersey. Another block for Shaquille O'Neal, but saved by the Sonics. 10 to shoot. It's Baker inside with a myriad of fakes. Hawkins 5 to shoot. Back into Baker, spinning into O'Neal. And he can't get it. And a foul.
Shaq has covered up the basket. I mean, you go in there and you think it must be a thundercloud because there's lightning coming out of there. He just gets that one, kind of watch, and then he comes back and he's mad because his teammates should have got the ball. So Vin is there, and then Juan, and then he does the wise thing, make him move his feet because he's standing, he's getting to all of them.
Well, if he's a thundercloud, then the Lakers have got to be the El Nino of the NBA with thunder jams and clouds like O'Neal covering the basket.
Now you blaming El Nino on a basketball game?
Lightning quick moves. Do I need to go on?
No, you've really stretched it as it is.
Shaq has 6 block shots tonight. That ties a career playoff high. Under 6 to play.
You know, one of the other guys that have 6 blocks in the game is Eddie Jones.
Here comes Fox barreling down the lane outside for Jones.
Oh, what a bad foul. 1 second on the shot clock. What a bad foul.
It's on Hawkins.
And George is looking in disbelief. He can't believe that was called. There's 1 second on the shot clock, and the guy is off balance, and they called that one. Oh, we were going to see Shaq put it down and shake him up a little bit. He is known to do that.
Into Shaq, this time with a little spinner on the baseline. Rebound by Baker. Out it goes to Payton. 5.5 left in the game. Shrimp picked up by Ori. Shaq and Baker. They'll duel and back out to Shrimp. He'll drive on Ori and take it down the lane.
Coming out of the double team, Ori is attacking. Didn't do a very good job of establishing his footwork. Taking it to the hoop was a Shrimp.
Well, the crowd is sensing with 5 minutes left that if the run is going to take place, it's got to be now. O'Neal, double. O'Neal pulls the trigger and hits it.
They can't do anything about it, especially if it's Jerome Kersey.
Ryan Jones by Ori into Shaq, out to Hawkins.
That's how you close out. You close out where a guy can't beat you or get the shot off. Oh, he should have got an offensive foul.
Shaq, tipped it by Shaq. He's got 7. Tag. He's playing tennis. Knocked away by Payton. Loose at midcourt with the foul called on Kersey.
That's a Shaq attack on the other end.
Wow. 5 on person. And George Karl is out there arguing.
And they were trying to control Jerome Kersey because he just picked up a technical foul. Because he felt he had a right to go for the ball. But once the call is made, Jerome, though you should play with passion, you must control your emotion. That's the balance. That's why officials sometimes let some things go in the playoffs, because you play on an emotional razor blade. Again, Shaq closing up the middle there.
Well, you know, here's the thing, too, about the Lakers. They're showing the poise of a veteran team that the Lakers lacked a true veteran. I mean, a guy like the many elder statesmen on a team like Seattle, for instance.
Well, I'll give you the showing the poise of a veteran team. The showing the poise of a team is winning. If they were losing, they would be subject to some of the same outbursts.
Jones again. 103-91. Let's see now the fallout from that technical in that little series there. With 4.5 to play. As Payton, great screen by Shrimp. Payton inside on his pogo stick. And another kicking. As Payton and Hawks have got to be. Here's Baker in the play.
Well, they all got to back up, because if you get into a fight here. Oh, and Van, they're trying to get Van and Ori saying, let go of me.
Neither team has left their bench.
No, nobody's left the bench.
Which is what we kind of you look for that first and foremost now. Does anybody leave the bench? In this case, no.
No, let me tell you, after the New York-Miami of last playoff season, and then Chris Mills getting tapped again this playoff season for leaving the bench, not being a part of what's going on the floor. Most players know, most coaches tell their assistant coaches that's their responsibility. A frustrated Gary Payton in that circumstance. Well, he goes off the screen, and then he'll come. Oh, that's a good screen there. And then Rick Fox reaches in.
He kicked him first of all.
Well, he's got his arm. And Gary objected to the fact that he had his arm.
So they were doing the two-step out there. A couple of different parties dancing with 4:24 to play in this game.
The two-step is usually something that two people do with consent. There was not much consent in that two-step that I knew of.
Well, it's our NBA version of the two-step.
Oh, okay.
Fox picks up a technical and the personal. And Hawkins at the line.
Other signs of frustration come when you go through those kind of situations, because when you've got it going for you successfully, oh, I'll tell you what happened there. On the other side, you'll take a look right here. They go up. When he shot the technical foul, one of the Lakers threw a towel to the other one just as he started to shoot the technical foul. That's why Hersey Hawkins missed it. If you take a look at that, that's an old trick that the officials did not see.
Distracts him.
Oh, sure, it catches you. As much as you're trying to concentrate, there's nobody on the line, so you're trying to shoot the shot. Somebody does that, it distracts you.
Sonics faced elimination in the first round against Minnesota. Came back from 2 games to 1 down. Tied it and won it here in the 5th game on Saturday afternoon. They got the same thing staring right in the eye now. The only difference is the Lakers may be the hottest team in the NBA.
But the other thing is, the Lakers can go down on the block to get an easy basket. The Timberwolves couldn't do that. Makes a big difference.
Travel on Fox with 4 away from 1. Sonics quickly inbound. Payton got the Baker screen. Works into Jones. Finds Shrimp. Screen by Baker again. Shot is a straight. Rebound Fox.
Yeah, and I thought that was a big possession, because I thought they needed to get 2 baskets and a stop so they can get it down to 6 and play back and forth. It's hard to play 10 back and forth in under 4 minutes.
Trapping now on the perimeter. Here's Ori. Lakers trying to eat up some time. Shot clock down to 4. Van Exel for 3. Rebound, Van Exel inside, took it away. Fresh 24 calls a timeout. That was about as good as it gets.
It was, because that would have been the second possession they had where they could have got the ball and made a shot. But now they allow the Lakers to chase the ball out, and Dell takes a full timeout.
The Lakers can smell a possible advance in the playoffs for the first time in 7 years. Timeout, Los Angeles. Don't forget, beginning July 19th and continuing through August 2nd, the 4th Goodwill Games from New York will be coming your way on TBS Superstation, featuring some 1,500 athletes from 65 countries competing in 14 sports, including Dan O'Brien in the decathlon. All gets underway July 19th on the Superstation. Speaking of super, the Lakers have been just that. Incredible shooting, incredible play. Tonight, 60% from the field. Mind-boggling number.
Also a little easier for the Lakers to make shots, not only because they have Shaquille because they got him in the middle, but they're up. They're up 3 games to 1. I mean, you get it 3-2, you know, if you're playing 3, they're not going to be looking for those 3-pointers quite as quickly.
Here comes Peyton Perkins, the screen. Lakers fight through it. Inside it goes to Perkins, who moves out to the perimeter.
He's not one to normally beat you off the dribble.
Shaq covered it up again. Shaquille O'Neal's got 8 block shots tonight.
Big fella's doing his job. He is covering it up.
103-93, Lakers by 10.
Now you play with savvy, you play with experience here.
Shaq double, Van Exel outside, works on the mismatch against Perkins and a foul. It's on Perkins. O'Neal, he's been a one-man gauntlet inside.
He has protected the basket so very well. That time didn't even jump block. That one from Ben Baker. Covered that one up for Jerome Kersey. And then the last one, watch him cover territory. It looked as though Percy Hawkins was free. Shaq gets it, throws it out. Nick Van Exel gets fouled on the other end.
Van Exel hits the first, 104-93 Los Angeles, 2:42 to play in the game.
Del Harris did an interesting thing with this game. March 16th, it was 49-15. Seattle was 49-15. The Lakers were 45-19, 4 games behind. Down the stretch, the Sonics went 12-6. The Lakers went 16-2.
Taken for 3, rebound Baker, and he can't get the foul. Another rebound, grabbed and brought down with authority by O'Neal.
And the reason I mention that is Dale trying to get his team to play with playoff intensity, because the only way you learn is by playing and going deep in the playoffs and just trying to better yourself. And his team did it then, and they've gotten better every game we've seen them play, Kevin.
A 3 by Fox, who got things going early as he went 4 of 4. The miss. Lakers by 12. Peyton Hawkins for 3. Short, caught by Fox. 2 minutes to play.
And they can't get a fast break because the Lakers can get back in transition as well as anybody. This is a stunned crowd, but nobody is more stunned than the team sitting over there. They didn't think there was any way they were going to get beat 4 straight.
First time it's ever happened in a George Park. Van Exel over Hawkins. Inside, Jones gets it over Baker and rebounded by O'Neal, who lost it. Van Exel has it, a fresh 24.
And you talk about what happened in the first game. Well, they had this. The steal is there by Hersey Hawkins.
To the trailing Peyton and the ball.
There's nothing that typifies this game more than that play. But they, in the first game, because they Sonics had played against Minnesota, it's so very different than playing against anything that the Lakers, they couldn't really do any real preparation for. So after game 1, they were ready. And clearly their team ready to play the Utah Jazz.
Fox out to Van Exel from 27. And picked up in the corner by Jones and fouled by Hawkins with 52 seconds to play. And you wonder about the future of George Karl. It's been talked about around the league, but in particular here in Seattle. Would he return after this year? Some people felt he had to make it at least to the Western Conference Finals, preferably to the NBA Finals.
I don't know if that's true. I really don't, Kevin. I don't know if the management is necessarily unhappy with George. I think one of the things George has made mention of is the fact that there was not some extension of a contract here during the season, and he was hoping for that. But that, you know, if it was something that needed to be done, I'm sure management would have got it done. I think George would like to stay here.
Well, it could be an interesting end for George Karl and perhaps 9 Sonics whose contracts are up as O'Neal leaves. But your point is well taken. Who would they find that's had more success than Carl over the last 6.5 years.
I just don't know who they would find as we take a look at Detlef going to the. I'm not sure they know who they'll find. You got to look ahead a little bit here. Remember, the Lakers play Utah now as it goes, and the Lakers beat the Utah Jazz 3 out of 4. So that's what's going to set up to be the Western Conference Final. As you saw, the Jazz have been there 3 times, 3 consecutive times. We'll see if experience comes around and play there. As Fox drills another 3, 5 of 6.
5 3-point shots for Rick Fox. Lakers playoff record, 13 3-point shots, has been tied tonight.
The question, Kevin, have the Lakers come of age?
I think they have. They don't need a year or 2 of seasoning. They are as ripe and as ready under Del Harris and for Shaquille O'Neal as they possibly could be. So it's Los Angeles over Seattle. 110-95. We've got a Laker-Utah Jazz Western Conference Final on the horizon beginning this weekend in Salt Lake City.
And we'll give credit. The Lakers won this series. This was not Seattle losing it. They got out and got busy last time, 1991, when the Lakers were in the final. And Shaquille O'Neal is being congratulated, and well he should. He was a load.
Interesting that George Karl was over there, because Karl had made some comments earlier before these playoffs began about Shaq. And is this the final time that George Karl will walk off this floor as the head coach of the Seattle Supersonics? Let's quickly go to Cheryl Miller with Shaquille O'Neal.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. First of all, 31 points. You set a career-high, playoff-high blocks with a tremendous performance. You've got to be feeling extremely excited about tonight's.
Yeah, my teammates are playing very well, and we just wanted to, just come up here and play smart. And I've been saying all year, if we play smart, we can play with anybody. And Seattle is a great team. My hat goes off to them, but we just came with a lot of enthusiasm after game 1, and we played well.
Shaq, one of the tags on this team all season, the critics have been saying they're talented, but they don't make the smart decisions. They don't play smart. Certainly tonight, you've erased a lot of that.
Yeah, we came out. We knew what was at stake. We knew if we came up here and took care of business, the series was over. We knew that Seattle was a great team, and they've been in this position before. We didn't want to give them any life. We came out. My guys hit a lot of big shots. Ricky and Eddie, and my team just played well.
Got a whole lot of time to celebrate. You'll be facing the Utah Jazz. Your thoughts about that soon?
They're a great team. They beat us last year, so we're going to be hungry. I think if we play smart, we can play with them also.
All right, congratulations. Great win. Let's go to you, Kevin. Quinn.
All right, Cheryl, we talk with Nick Van Exel. When we come back, the Lakers close out the series, beating the Sonics 4 consecutive times. 110-95, the final.